Hey guys, happy Thursday. Today is Thursday, August, I'm going to guess this, 8th, 2019. Super excited to be here with my friends Brian Mewich. Did I do it?
You got it.
And of course Kevin Strawter, who's been on the show before. We're here to talk about the 9th Annual Walk-A-Thon. Hey Althea, let us know you can hear us and see us. Lena Morris is on. Give us a heart, a thumbs up. You're all going to love that we're all matching green. We didn't even plan it. Okay, we got a thumbs up. What's up, Deb? Good to see you. Hey, Suzanne. Another vet right there, Kevin. Suzanne Oliver. She's amazing. She's been on the show. So welcome. This is a promo show for their event that's coming up in August 31st. And so you guys have never seen this before. This is new. So welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Ted. We appreciate you having us.
Thank you. And Riley and Finn are great, Althea. I'm very excited to have you guys on the show. I love what you guys are doing. Before we dive in and tell them more about the event, it'd be really great for them to kind of know who you are, get to know you, and then how you came to putting on this walk-a-thon.
Sure, we appreciate that, Ted. So the walk-a-thon is through our church, Outreach Church of Jesus. And I have been a member of Outreach since around 2008, 2009. And this event has been going on, this is our 9th year. So it's been going on since 2010. So about a year, 2 years after I started fellowshipping with the church. And
how did you get here though? We were talking, you're an Illinois boy.
Yeah, I'm an Illinois native. So I was on vacation back in 2007 it was. And I just wanted to find a local church that I could worship with. And I found one, and after I had a good time fellowshipping with them, I asked them if they knew of any other faithful congregations in the area, and the pastor said, well, I know of one. And so he actually led me to Outreach, where our late overseer, Robert Randolph, was pastoring at the time. And so I stepped into Outreach on this little box, this really, really small. Yes, small area, Ted, but I'll tell you what, just the love of God that was in there, from the smallest children to the oldest that was in the room. That's what really stuck with me. So I had a young son at the time, Elijah, and he was a couple years old. So just to see these young children at all ages just lifting up their hands and just being free to worship God, and just was doing it joyfully out of their own heart, not because like their parents were making it. It just was extremely impactful, right, man. So
I love it.
I mean, from the beginning, our church is a pretty young and vibrant church, and so we have a lot of children ourselves, and so just helping our youth as much as we can in our own homes, and then the entire community is big for us. So
were you always in ministry?
No, but I've been in the church for quite a few years, I'd say, since I was about 20. Really started seeking after God. I'm in my 40s now. So
he's got the young skin.
Wow.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right, Kevin, tell us a little bit about your story.
Hello, Facebook family. I'm a member and in ministry of Outreach Church of Jesus. Been going to the church since 2002. Learned so much. The best thing about the church is that we are full of life and kids makes the church as well, and many families are looking for churches for kids to bring their kids, and not only that, to just be free to worship as well. We're a noisy bunch, but we have fun. We love what we do. We have many events going on throughout each year. For example, our pastor, we basically have a Jerusalem college. So any aspect or subject that needs to be discussed to help develop our youth, and even us adults, we're still learning as well. So we have so much to offer, and this is one of the programs that we offer in our big event of the year is the 9th annual Keep Kids Off the Street. This started 9 years ago.
Well, yeah, let's talk about why keeping kids off the street was important, how you guys came up with that. Because obviously there's always this seed that's planted, and then you're trying to build around it. You have your first one, you're like, okay, that was good. But I think people want to know about the organization. What are you trying to accomplish?
That's a great question, Ted. Yeah. So back in 2010, one of the church members, they took the youth that we had at the time, and they just went door to door, pretty much doing a penny march, right? Just collecting free change that the community had to help sponsor the different youth group events that the church was wanting to do for the children. So that's how it started back in 2010. Ever since then, the pennies turned to nickels, to dimes, to dollars, and it's been growing ever since.
Why keeping kids off the street? What are your goals, and then what do you do to actually have that happen? Well, you obviously have outreach programs.
Correct. And so it's multifaceted. That's one of the number one questions we're always asked. What do you really mean by help keep kids off the street? And really, it has many different arms, from the basics of just instilling in our children a moral compass, right? Their faith in Jesus, it's number one, right? The reason why they don't do the things that we're trying to protect them from, the wickedness that you see on the streets, the drugs and the violence, and keeping them holy, right? And just keeping their bodies preserved to marriage. We've got a ladies in waiting program.
Absolutely.
So really trying just to restore purity for our children and keeping them pure and safeguarding them from a lot of the wickedness that comes.
How do you do it without, because I love the church part, right? So I'm a member of a church,
okay.
So I understand what you're saying. How do you, this is always big for me because I want to be more impactful. How do you reach the people, the kids who are already on the street? Are you trying to just prevent, or are you actually doing any kind of outreach? Is this more just internal church, or are you out in the community trying to?
Oh boy, good one.
Yeah, no, it's both, right? So we do go out in the community. We actually go on the street corners. We've done this to preach the gospel.
I love it.
And as much as we can get other organizations involved too, we understand our organization is not the solution. But if we can actually be just a springboard and also be a nucleus to bring the other organizations that have the same heart and mind, like YMCA, right? They have got healthy activities for the youth in the community. They came as a vendor partner last year. They're coming again to our walk. Embrace Families for the first time is a new one.
Wow.
Embrace Families actually has a group of about 100 troubled teens and preteens that they're needing families in the area that want to try to help out, open up their doors, act as temporary foster parents. And so when we're talking about keeping kids off the street, there's many different arms to this. And so the answer to that problem is going to be different, based on what view you're looking at it from. But everybody that has that same desire to help out our community youth, we want to use this Keep Kids Off the Street Walk-A-Thon to really grow just the awareness of this need, because there are a lot of troubled teens. There are a lot of troubled youth in our area that really just need somebody to love on them, to know that there are healthy alternatives out there. They don't have to turn to the drugs. They don't have to turn to the violence. I mean, we can open up a newspaper and see the latest, just the news reports of all the hatred.
I try not to listen to or read that news.
Right.
But that's why the outreach, I think, is so important, because it's one thing to say it. I think the church as a whole, my opinion as a church member, is that we need to do more outreach, and it can't just be within the four walls of the church.
Sure. Absolutely.
And so the church is supposed to be much bigger than the building you're in. And so being able to go out into the community and actually do real outreach, that's where we're going to meet the people where they're at.
Absolutely. And Ted, that's one of the biggest benefits we see of the actual Keep Kids Off the Street Walk-A-Thon.
Yeah, talk about the walk-a-thon. So the idea was to have a walk-a-thon. It's August.
Correct.
So talk about the walk-a-thon, and talk about, because you have it if you guys could see them, and we'll hold them up even though they're backwards on my screen, unfortunately. You have a lot of sponsors. I mean, a lot of work has gone into this. So tell us about where you're walking. Give us the date. Give us kind of an idea of what goes on during that day.
A beautiful question, Ted. We started this walk in 2009. We originated at Lake Eola. So we were there for about 8 years. They loved us, and we kept coming back. We kept coming back. We kept coming back. However, the church is in Kissimmee.
Right.
So being that the lake shore did a massive construction down there, they put a bunch of money into that park, and they made it look so beautiful. So the first year it was ready, the first year we were there.
I love it.
So Me and myself, Brian, we've been to the committees, to the city hall down there, many conferences, meetings down there, met in front of them. The last one I went to, Brian gave me some information to go to, and then when I went there, it was like a panel there. They asked a bunch of questions, and it was like they already had the answers, and I didn't even finish on what I was saying. They said, y'all approved.
Right.
So they gave us generously a grant last year because they liked what they saw.
Right.
And again, this year they gave us a grant. So it's a win-win. The city of Kissimmee sponsored this one this year.
Right.
So we're there this year. And a big shout out to the city of Kissimmee.
Yes.
We say thank you,
Yes.
from the TED Show.
I love me some Mayor Alvarez.
Oh yeah. And one thing I didn't want to interject while you was talking, one of the big things that we do with our kids, we had a car wash to keep kids off the street, and it's absolutely free. And whatever the car wash donators want to donate, we just had a bucket. Now we had kids there laboring too, and that was a really good thing that they saw. And we had like fish sandwiches, drinks, so it was all free to the community. And just give with an open heart. And one other thing that we had is that, I don't know if you all recall that, I believe it was 3 years ago, there was a shooting in Pine Hills. We staked out and camped out at the Walmart right in Pine Hills. And we just evangelized out there, had kids out there. We have a YouTube video concerning on how we stood out there on the streets. We had horns beeping and bopping because it was a refreshing to the community immediately right after that shooting. And I knew the Walmart manager, and she gave us permission to go ahead and stake out there and just do outreach, a good service do a good service to the community. And our souls were blessed, and we don't have an idea, but the impact that was made right after that was just, my heart was truly blessed after that.
All right, so the event, you can register online. We did the link is there, and we're going to share all the information. So when somebody wants to walk,
it's completely free. So we want to emphasize the fact that everything is open, family-friendly, free event. It costs nothing to register. So if you go to our Eventbrite page, you'll be able to sign up, and it will just expedite the process when you actually get there on walk day. We'll have a table just for the pre-registrants. And it'll give you the free food and drink options throughout the event. And you'll also be able to enter into the free raffles, giving away over $10,000 of free giveaways from local attractions and entertainment.
You have so many sponsors. Like I love the community's obviously gotten behind it. So tell us the time frame. So you're going to register. It's August 31st.
Correct. Yep.
8 to 2 o'clock.
8 to 2 o'clock. What time do walkers need to be there?
Well, as early as you can. 8 a.m. is when it opens, and registration closes at, I believe it's 1 o'clock.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Awesome.
And the good thing about this year, again, emphasis on the city of Kissimmee, they gave us an extra 2 hours.
Nice.
Last year was 8 to 12, and they liked what they saw. They loved it, and they said, we're going to give you another 2 hours.
Kudos to the city of Kissimmee. I love that. Got to give them a shout out because government gets such a bad rap sometimes, and look at the participation and the support that you guys are getting. But if you could see, once you go and you click on the link or you go to their site, the amount of sponsors and people who are committed to the walk-a-thon is really awesome. It's kind of awe-inspiring. You have a lot of people who believe in what you're doing, and so that everybody walks. And then you have things going on though. I think or you have things that people can do when they're done with the walk-a-thon. What's going on?
Well, during the event, again, we're going to give you free food and drinks. You've got 6 vendors that are there. You have some of the local attractions. You have K1 Speed that's going to be there. Dare to Escape is a local escape game company right on 192. So appreciate their support. They're actually going to have some of their props from one of their escape games
that's cool.
that you can play around with there. But we also have a couple booths for the youth group program, YG, and the Ladies in Waiting program from our church.
Very interesting.
So you can learn more about how these programs and getting your youth involved with them will give them a safe avenue really to help keep them off the streets.
All right, so August 31st, 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. We have the link here, but both Brian and Kev are going to share the show and then put all of the links in later on, because I don't know about you, I have to see it in writing. I'm not a verbal person, so I have to see the link so I can click on it. We got to make it easy.
Right.
Do you have any parting words of wisdom? Is usually what I say, but we talked about it. You are basically creating this community-wide mentorship program, mentorship opportunity. So I always like to ask my guests, who was a mentor to you? If you can think of a person or people, somebody who made an impact on you. Obviously, mentors are so important. They can change our lives in an instant. It's amazing what impact they have. So how about you two? We'll start with Brian.
I would say first and foremost my dad. So appreciate my dad growing up. Even though he and I don't share the exact same faith, his example has stood with me.
I love it.
And we go out in the community and we promote our event each year. And some families, when they hear what we're doing, they say, well, that's the parents' job. And to help keep kids off the street, and we say amen. Unfortunately, there are a lot of broken families in our communities. And so not everybody has those parents to be able to be mentors. So first and foremost, I'd say my dad. Absolutely. And then, of course, the leadership at the churches that I've been blessed to fellowship over my years, the pastors, the leadership teams have been very, very important for me.
I love it. How about you, Kevin?
Absolutely. I would say first and foremost, my mom. I'm a single. Actually, my mom raised me, and I have no brothers or sisters. And as I grew, I learned a lot from my mom, and I went on and joined the Air Force, and my supervisors, all of my supervisors were my mentors. I learned, I grew, I've traveled, and after getting settled down, and I met the church here, and I've learned so much. I was big on fishing. I had a pole for every fish, Ted. And then once I got invited to the church, I told my wife that I'm getting rid of my poles, and she looked at me like I was crazy, and I did. I said, I'm fishing for men now, bring to the church.
Oh, so there's a nice scriptural reference there, my friend.
Absolutely. So ever since then, I was sold out, and I enjoyed what's being taught. And again, I emphasize, as my pastor said, we have a Jerusalem College. For every subject that you need, we have it there at the church. It's not just for man, but it's scriptural, and it's backed up by the Bible and the Word of God. Right. So anything we can do to help, feel free to reach out to us, tag us, or inbox us. But we'd love to see you on the 31st. We have a grand prize, but we're not telling you what it is, so that forces you to come.
Love it.
As I was going around, I'm pretty much the marketeer for this organization, for the Keep Kids Off the Street. Right. And I'm relaying back to Brian back and forth, and we're always talking. And he says, when he says bro, and he put that O on it, that means he says, stop, we got enough, we got enough.
Bro.
He said, yeah, when he put that O in it, you know, bro. So we just really exceeded the goal over and over this year on the people that help make this happen. So again, to all of the sponsors, thank you. And when y'all come that day, you will see who all sponsor the program, and for us to have another blessed year. So come on out, August 31st, 8 to 2. Bring your dogs, dog friendly too, and we'll have a good time.
All right, you guys have been a joy. I love it when I don't have to do much, but just ask questions. It's awesome. Thank you, Brian. Thank you, Kevin.
Yes.
August 31st, 9th Annual Walk-A-Thon. Help keep kids off the street.
That's right.
So we'll share all the links. Thank you, Mary, for that comment. Love you. Thank you, Althea. Thank you guys for tuning in. Reach out to these guys, especially if you're in that neck of the woods. Right. Not that you can be downtown Orlando and still go, but think about it. Hey, good morning, Carlos. Let's get involved in our community. They're doing a lot of outreach, and that should be very important to all of us. So thank you guys for being on the show.
Thanks.
We'll see you back here soon. Love you guys. See you later.
All righty.